Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Therapeutic Drug and the Christian Faith. Today, we will be focusing on therapy and you. In the previous teaching, I did define therapy and drug. So we're focusing on therapy alone today. Why therapy, risk factors, and healthy living. Just to reiterate the definitions I gave previously, therapy or therapeutic means to relieve or heal a disorder. This means there is or was an order that went otherwise and need to be restored or repaired. Drug, on the other hand, is a medicine or substance which has physiological effects when ingested or introduced into the body. Therefore, a drug can be for therapeutic effect or for recreation. So why therapy? We have to understand that saying therapy doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a drug. But what we do could give some therapeutic effect to our body. So therapy can be to maintain health, to manage disease states. In other words, it means to prevent disease progression, to sustain survival. So therapy can be administered. So if there is no possible cure in view, then the disease will be managed via the therapy given and helps to prolong the person's or the patient's life. We need to remember the scripture that says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers." 3 John 2. You are either in health, in the process of being diseased, or in the process of healing. So what we do to ourselves or what we eat, the environment we find ourselves is either helping to maintain our health or is putting us on the road to being in a disease state. So we have to think about our environment, where you are or where you live, your occupational habitat, that's where you work, your working environment. So this leads us to talk about healthy living and risk factors. We will look at therapeutic measures and damaging factors. We want to compare this and see which area we need to focus our strength in so that we will maintain our health. Lifestyle. Our lifestyle can be a form of therapeutic measures to us. For instance, when you work and you have some rest time, you are helping your body to repair, to restore, and to be relieved of energy dissipated. So when you take some rest after a day's job or a week's work, or a month or several months, you help your body to recuperate. You help your body to regain its strength. Even Jesus took out time to rest, as shown in Mark 6:30-32 and Genesis 2:3 God himself rested after creation on the seventh day. So we need to give our bodies some rest. There is a recommendation for rest. A 6 to 9-year-old requires 9 to 11 hours of sleep. Teenagers need 8 to 10 hours of sleep, or sometimes more. Adults need 7 to 9 hours, and some can do well on 6 hours. So it's important for us to take our resting into consideration as we go about our plans for the week, for the month, or for months. Incorporate some resting time. This helps you because when you don't rest, when you don't sleep, there is lack of concentration, there is depression, there is anxiety, there is diabetes, there is high blood pressure, there is obesity. So you want to avoid all this and put your body in a state that will always get replenishment. Talking about diet, it's important that we eat appropriately because our diet can be a therapeutic measure. The type of diet you are on is either predisposing your body to a particular disease. For instance, a high-fat diet predisposes you to colorectal cancer. We need to have exercise in your day-to-day schedule. Put in exercise. Exercises are good for us. They help to maintain the fitness of the body. Other therapeutic measures that we can take will be to ensure that we visit medical doctor. It is not only when you are sick that you go to see your medical doctor. You need to visit once in a while, ask questions. Visit your doctor to ask questions, to gain understanding on healthy living. Consult nutritionists. It's very important to make sure that we eat appropriately. So we need to consult the nutritionist if we don't have understanding of the types of food that we need to eat. So what risk factors can we talk about? We talk about diet. I did mention that diet can be a therapeutic measure, but at the same time, diet can be a risk factor because when you are on a high-fat diet, it predisposes you to colorectal cancer. Diet is a risk factor to colorectal cancer, to diabetes. Lack of exercise. So when you are not physically active, it predisposes you to diseases such as colorectal cancer and diabetes as well as atherosclerosis. Smoking, tobacco smoking predisposes you to lung cancer. Alcohol predisposes to liver disease and colorectal cancer. What about your environment? When you want to rent house or you want to build house, you need to put into consideration the building materials from which the houses were built from. You need to know, ask questions from the person that you're renting, from your landlord or from the people that you're going to buy the house from. You need to consult building constructors so that you are careful not to live in a house that is roofed with asbestos, You are careful not to live in a house that is padded with Teflon. You need to put your living environment into consideration. Or if you're working in an environment where the buildings are made up of asbestos or Teflon, you need to bring this out to your employers, point it out to your employers, talk about it. Workers that are exposed to carcinogens should undergo periodic medical examinations. Talking about the sun, most people think, oh, the sun is good for you. You get vitamin D from the sun. Yes, you get vitamin D from the sun, but no, the sun isn't good for you. Because you can get vitamin D from supplements. You can get vitamin D from seafoods. Because excessive exposure to the sun damages your skin, damages your cells. So you want to avoid that excessive exposure. There are chemicals that are toxic to the body. So avoid chemicals toxic to the body. For instance, chemicals such as chloroform or formaldehyde. People who work in environment or in offices where they use chloroform, you have to make sure that you visit your medical doctor periodically for checkups. Age is a risk factor to some disease. So we need to understand our body. We need to gain understanding on how to manage our health even as we age. As you age, you cannot just eat anyhow because your metabolism has reduced compared to a teenager that is so active. So you need to understand that because you are much older, you are not as active as a teenager, so they can afford to maybe take ice cream or eat meat anyhow, and their metabolic activity will help burn those fats quickly. But for somebody who is much older and is not physically active, you can afford to be eating meat anyhow or taking ice cream anyhow. So we need to have the consideration and the mindset that whatever we are eating, let us ensure that it is adding value to our system. Because we need to add value to our system, we need to maintain health, we need to maintain healthy lifestyle. In subsequent teaching, we will be focusing on each of these so that we have understanding on how our body reacts with each aspect of these lifestyles and risk factors that we have pointed out today. Thank you for listening. For further reading, do visit this website, search and read and understand so that you can adhere to healthy lifestyle. Thank you. And do send in questions. You can send in your questions via Facebook, via the YouTube comment section, or send questions to the email as shown on the screen. Thank you.